right, Shalom. So one for sure is like all praise, honor, and glory to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash.
the ones, the apostles and elders, the great millstone, to always interact out there, pressing the truth and sincerity. It's our brother Abaya.
Shemaya Allah again.
Just wanted to do a quick response to the breaking news, that happened here, here in Milwaukee. Apparently, it was a house. Not sure if it was it shot up or you said somebody was a drive-by.
Well, what they have is that 5 was found dead. They didn't specify on whether it was shot up or not. From my understanding, when they went live on Facebook, there are people talking about the house had been shot up, but I don't know for sure. So
basically, they somebody went into the house and they found 5 dead bodies, ages from ages 14 to 41. And judging by their ages, it's sad to say, hey, that was the judgment of the Lord, because they were past the age of accountability, and their sins was literally upon them, and that's only a pretense of what's to come,
That's right.
Things are, you guys are so busy, focusing on this coronavirus when the real problem, hey, it's really finna just take off, because the Lord is not only finna, bring in this chip, also a judgment finna start happening. You want to grab that Ezekiel 9?
You want to go back to the video later, or you want to start?
No, you grab Ezekiel first.
Okay.
Because I mentioned, how judgment finna come.
Mm-hmm. Start at 4 or start at 5?
Start at 4.
Okay. This is Ezekiel chapter 9, verse 4, and it reads, "And the Lord Yahweh said unto him, Go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh, that cry, and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof."
Right, that's talking about the elect of the nation of Israel, the 144,000. Go ahead.
Okay, verse 5. "And to the others he said in mine hearing, Go ye after him through the city and smite. Let not your eye spare, neither have ye pity."
Right. And that word smite means to kill, to destroy, And it said, and let not your eyes spare, neither have any pity. So hey, when these death angels, which is that's also it's like ultimately talking about the when the missiles hit, the destruction that's coming. That same judgment, that same death angel is going throughout the city. And that's why you're seeing people get killed at an all-time high.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to continue to see it turn up.
Yeah, I mean, since I've been living here in Milwaukee, I've never seen a situation like what happened today with the whole household being put to death.
Okay.
This is verse 6. It says, "Slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children and women, but come not near any man upon whom is the mark, and begin at my sanctuary. Then they began at the ancient men which were before the house."
So he said, have no pity, and probably have no pity. What they say, old, young, maid, little children, anybody can get it,
And you think about what happened in the murders, the bodies that were found. They said 14 to 41. Okay. That's a range. That's a wide range, But
no, that was it.
Yeah, but in it.
Go ahead.
Let's talk about because there's a little bit more on here. It says, "But come not near any man upon whom is the mark," and that's the mark of exemption that it's speaking about. We have the elect have the blood of Yahweh Shai upon them, just like back in Egypt when we were exiting Egypt during the Passover. Everyone that had the blood on the lintel
Okay.
were exempt from the judgment of the death angel that came that passed over. And like you think about now, hey man, the Lord got death angels out here now taking out, starting with the house of Israel, you know?
That's right.
With the Jakes. You want to go to the video? You wanna...
Yeah, play video.
Okay, I'm going to play the video. Then we got some more scriptures to bring out. Now I just want to play.
Shalom to the. This is a fluid investigation. This is what we know so far, and this is what we can provide you. We will give you additional updates as we learn more throughout the day. So what we know right now is that on today's date, approximately 10:30 this morning, the Milwaukee Police Department received a call from an individual who stated that his family was dead. Upon our arrival, we discovered 5 deceased victims at this location in the 2900 block or 2800 block of North 12th Street. The subject who called is taken into custody, and there is no active threat that we know of right now out to the community. I believe it's one actor. The weapon has been recovered. The victims are between the age of 14 through 41. The investigation is still ongoing. And additional information, as I stated, will be provided you in the upcoming days. Understand this is a very tragic event. Our prayers are out to the family, and currently we're continuing to investigate, and we'll let you know more as we learn more.
Can you tell us what kind of weapon?
At this time, we can't release that information on the weapon.
Can you say it was 5 people?
We have 5 individuals that are deceased, 5 victims, ranging from the age of 14 through 41.
The suspect called 911. What did the suspect say?
That information will be provided later. It's an active investigation. I don't want to give you any more and any misinformation.
Are they all related, the 5 people?
They're all known to each other, and that's what we're investigating, the relationship between all of them.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Once we get more information, we'll release that.
There you go. So, yeah, you see it, you know, and what is that, Amos?
It's the book of Amos, chapter 3, verse 6, and it reads, "Shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid?"
Right, and that trumpet is being blown in the city, you know, through the men of the Lord, you know, constantly going out there to the highways and byways, constantly putting up videos, you know, warning the people, hey, more and more judgment is coming, you know.
Death, destruction,
Yep.
famine.
Death, destruction, like you said, death, destruction, famine, mourning and woe. You know?
I mean, we're in the midst of a pandemic, and you know we got stay-at-home orders, and this is happening. You know,
God.
so the Lord is turning up the dial.
That's right.
It says, "Shall there be evil in the city, and the Lord Yahweh hath not done it?"
God, and that is an evil. Yeah, that is an evil thing, you know. You know, for 5 family members to be killed. You know, you go home and you know your household shot up. You know, everybody in your family's dead. That's tragic. You know, hey, but the Lord is allowing these things to happen to bring judgment upon you people. You know, you 2/3 of the nation of Israel. You know, because you refuse to follow after His laws, statutes, and commandments.
That's right.
You know, go ahead. Well,
You got the Hebrews 10, the
which one was that?
Ecclesiastes, and you got
Great Ecclesiastes.
This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, or Sirach, chapter 39, verse 28, and it reads, it says, "There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes."
Right, spirits created for vengeance. You know, And it said, what is that? In their fury, they lay on sore strokes.
God.
Hey, those are those sore strokes, you know? Go ahead.
It says, in the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them.
Right. Appease the, pour out their force, you know, and that's part of that force, you know, through the elements, through you know, a person, you know, but that is the force behind it, that demonic force. It's like, yeah, that demonic force to appease the wrath of him that made them, you know. So the Lord created good and evil. Was Isaiah 45 and 7. I said, I created the light, I for the dark, I the Lord do all these things, you know. So it said the Lord is, you know, the mastermind behind the show, you know.
And then ultimately, leading to Hebrews 10 verse 31, it is a fearful thing to fall in the hands of the living power.
That's right. Hey, a fearful thing. It's dreadful, you know.
You know, someone went live on Facebook, and you heard the weeping, and the, you know, women were passing out in fear and in mourning, you know, of what took place. And to think about something like that happening, it is very much fearful. And even you had the was this police chief? Slaki, police chief?
Morales.
Yeah, you had him speaking of someone who had called in and said his whole family was dead, and who had went to the home and witnessed the carnage behind what was left. You know, could you imagine his mindset of seeing his family dead? So, you know, again, it's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power.
That's right. You know, but hey, that's, you know, everybody's used to the you know, not to take it off topic, but everybody's used to the, you know, the norm of the coronavirus and you know, everything that's happening. Hey, you people better get used to death, because hey, a lot of your family members, a lot of your friends, hey, they finna start dropping like flies, you know. But hey, you better have the faith in Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai to keep moving. You
That's
know?
right. You know, because as the scriptures say, you know, the Lord didn't give us the spirit of fear.
God.
You know.
And thou fainted in the day of adversity, thy faith is weak. You know, this is hey, coming to that day of adversity. You know, difficult times. What did it say? First Timothy 3. It said, perilous times shall come. We living in a time of perilous times. Three and one. Nope. 2 Timothy 3 and 1.
It's like,
God said, knowing this also, it's like knowing this also, that in the last days perilous times shall come. You know, and that we know that word perilous means dangerous, treacherous, you know, evil times, and that's the time that we're living in. You know, what kind of mindset do you have to be in to go and kill a whole family of 5? You know, you gotta be some kind of sick, twisted, you know, person. You know, under the influence of Satan. You know, it says, men shall become lovers of themselves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy. You know, and that's 2/3 of the nation of Israel. You know, it says, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers. What's that?
incontinent,
Fierce,
despisers.
despisers of all that is good. You know, and like I said, that's 2/3 of the nation of Israel, and that's why they must be taken out. You know, was it Zephaniah? You got that on deck? Zephaniah 9, I believe.
Was it?
No.
It's like, what does it say?
2/3 shall be cut off and die. But the third shall be left therein. 12 and 9, I want to say. It's like
Zechariah 13:8.
13:8.
And it reads, and it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Lord, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die,
Okay.
but the third shall be left therein.
Right, and predominantly that's talking about the thermonuclear missiles. But hey, that time is, approaching now. 2/3 is being cut off, Hey, but the third shall be left there, and the elect, the elect.
That 1/3.
Okay.
You got anything else?
What else you had? That was it.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh yeah, so that's pretty much it. Hey, no, just hey, so with that, hey, don't be disenchanted by what's going on, Matter of fact, give me Sirach 2 and 2. This is the mindset that you should be in. Is it start at 1? So right 2 and 1 it says, "My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation." You got to prepare your mind to be tempted. The word temptation or temptation means to be tested, to be tried. To see if you really with this.
That's right.
It says, "Set your heart aright and constantly endure." Get your mind right. How do you get your mind right? It's by taking heed to the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. Getting into His Word, studying. It says, "Cleave unto Him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at the last end." And that thou, like I said, that thou mayest be increased at the last end, so you'll receive that reward. That penny that we all work for. Which is the kingdom of heaven. And so whatsoever shall be brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a lower state. So the same mindset that Job had, the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. You got to have that mindset. Hey, you didn't come in the world with it. And hey, if the Lord have it to where you can't leave the world with it, hey, count it all joy. It said, "For as gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable, it's like an acceptable man in the furnace of adversity." And that, like I said, that adversity, hard times. So when you coming in this thing, you got to expect hard times to come. You might lose your family. They might walk away and leave you. They might die and leave you. You don't know how it's gonna happen. You just got to have the faith and the strength to continue. So yeah, with that, we're gonna end it off there. And say, tell you brothers, hey, gird up thy loins. Hey, be faithful unto death. Because hard times are coming. So with that, all praise, honor, and glory to
Yahweh, B'Shem Yahushai, B'Shem Rakakadash.
Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone to all the sins rocking out their person in truth and sincerity. Shalom.
Shalom.